All right, should we start with the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks for being here, friends. So it's an exciting night where we get to review the data. So I want to kind of leave open to the group how we tackle this. I think there are a couple of options. One, we could do what we did last time, which is kind of have things up on screen. We could all be looking at it. I think at some point we have to start kind of moving from what we see to like what are some of the implications, what are some of the, at least preliminarily, what are some of the things we're thinking of doing with this information. So we could either do that together, or we could do something like break into pairs or threes and each tackle a part of the survey, then come back to the group and say, you know, here's some of my key findings. Hi, Al. You haven't missed too much. We're just getting started, so you're right on time. Right. And Joanne, if you wouldn't mind just pass one of those. Your very own copy of the results. So we were just talking about whether we want to review the results. We could review them together like we did last time, or we could sort of break into smaller groups and have each group kind of report out. Like maybe we take 20 minutes, like you can take a question or two, come back with like, here's the big stuff we found, or here's what we see. I mean, there's pros and cons both ways. I'm open to whatever the group feels makes the most sense or feels most comfortable. Any thoughts, suggestions? I think we do whatever you want. One vote for doing it together?
Yeah, cool.
That's fine.
Are we okay with that? Yeah. Okay, let's give it a shot. So, Brandon, if you don't mind driving, as you did last time. Hi, how you doing? I am wondering if, as we go, it would be helpful to use our flip charts maybe to keep track of, like, key takeaways, things we don't want to forget. Like if we've said this is a key takeaway or an insight or here's something we might want to do with this or hey, we just need more information, if we want to track that on a flip chart.
I think that'd be a good idea.
And then we can always type those up later, but at least there's like someplace we recorded it. Does that sound helpful?
Sure.
Okay. So drag this baby over here and is there stuff on the front? Okay. And I don't want us to be distracted by the flip chart, but I'll just kind of put it behind where I'm sitting. And as we come up with anything we don't want to lose track of, just shout that out. And we'll keep it right here. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right, take us away.
All right. So what I prepared was very top level analysis. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get you data to visualize it or whatever you were going to do. To get more of a granular look at maybe like this demographic, accesses social media this way. That would have been a big task, but I think we can make some inferences based on the final data set we have here. So it's going to be similar to what we looked at the last time we looked at things, but I think the results have at least increased by 50%. So we definitely have more data in there. So 656 total responses came in. I think we had just shy of 500 last time, or shy of 400?
You're shy of 400.
Yeah, I think it was shy of 400. Mm-hmm. So something happened that second half that really boosted it. We'll take a look at the next slide that we showed, like the peaks and all that.
That's when we said we were going to do another push.
We were doing another push, so something worked, something stuck.
That was the big spike.
So the estimated, on average, 65% of the survey was being completed. Like that's an average. So some people like skipped questions and things like that. But it's still a pretty good turnout, and it took about like 5 minutes for people to complete. So this is a nice little graph that shows you. Before we only kind of had half of this big spike here, and then things started to slow down a little bit, and then here is that other spike that we had, probably that second push. So we didn't get quite as high, but we still got a lot of results in, and that's quite interesting. 20% of these people that took this were actually not residents of Plymouth, which I thought was neat, because like I said last time, it really doesn't, it definitely depends on Plymouth residents to get the best information, but everyone's part of a township, so they're all kind of sharing the same story. You know, they all want access to information about their townships. So we have 80% that are residents, so that's good. The age spread is very interesting. Not many people in their 20s took it. We have a 14 and 8-year-old, but they were also bunched in with like a 40-year-old. I think they took it together, so they just put 14, 18, and 40. Only 10 in their 20s, 72 in their 30s, and then that number kind of gets larger as the decades go, which is kind of interesting. Not a lot of engagement. It's kind of ironic because 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds are the ones I feel like engage in the most social media, but I guess we're just like,
Maybe they don't care about
we love TikTok and stuff.
That'll be-
So maybe we need a TikTok. I think that's what we need. So yeah, it's really interesting how the decades, the ages are increasing as the number of people. So like in their 70s, we have 165 results, and there are some in there that didn't have an age. So these are all kind of approximations. These numbers.
I thought it was interesting that you have almost, roughly the same number of in each category there, in each decade, which.
Yeah. Yep. And minus the 20s and 30s, but I don't know how you really would grab them. I think it has something to do with 20s. You're in your 20s, you're not really engaging in the township, and in your 30s, you might be just starting, buying a house and just starting to engage. Like I'm in my 30s, and I don't really engage with my township that much. I'm guilty, but if I have a question, I will. But
Even the 30s, though, that's a big jump from the 20s.
yeah, for sure.
It's a really big jump. So I think there are people do become homeowners, start families, settle into jobs.
And also, I'm sure there's plenty more people out there, obviously, but these are the only ones that took the survey. So. All right. So this is a breakdown of the different websites, how they get their news, and just mind you that they can choose multiple, like a resident can choose multiple. So that's why these percentages are a little off. But it seems like most of the traffic is coming in through the website and the community center. So you guys are doing a great job up there. And even the police, I think it's pretty good. People are going there for their news. And yeah, there's even on the township website and the GPCC, they're pretty much right there. Facebook. So it seems like from the township Facebook, the community center Facebook, and the police all kind of performing about the same, which is great. Facebook's definitely used by, I think, like any age group. I think, I'm not sure, I haven't spent a lot of time on Facebook, but it seems like it's not just younger generation. Like if you look at TikTok and like Snapchat and things like that, you have a younger generation there. But I think Facebook is more.
The young people say
diverse.
old people do Facebook.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Anymore, yes.
And community center, you guys are right up there, and then those group pages, the neighborhood group pages, they have the overwhelming.
Yeah.
Those are really important, and I know that I don't know if we went in and had people try to push the survey in these groups, but.
I mean, I definitely didn't. I'm pretty sure Chris Monero did.
I think Chris did for East Point Valley.
Yeah.
I think that's a really significant finding, though.
I
That
agree.
people are using places that have nothing to do with the township for township news. Which it isn't bad, but I mean, that just tells us something about maybe the need to make sure that those groups have information, that we leverage those, that we maybe have like, I don't know, I'm not saying what the solution is, but there could be an ambassador from the township to each of these groups. Like, to me, that's kind of stunning.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not gonna lie, I took Chris's post that he put in his neighborhood and put it in mine. That's
like,
great, fantastic, thank you, Chris.
Yes, no, well,
And put it right in Black Horse, I was like, yeah.
yeah, because I think that's key, like with the local group pages, because I mean, as far as making sure that the information that they're getting is accurate, and because I think you get a lot of opinions in those, and then if everyone is looking at those opinions grow, and almost like if we tell a secret around here, by the time it gets back to me, it's like, that's not what I said. It's not what I said, or it's a version of what I said. So I think that, like you say, identifying that, I think that's a key thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should like fight the system. I think
Right.
we figure out a way to work with the system
Right.
and
Yeah.
help keep those groups informed so that they're, people inside them are keeping each other like well informed
Right.
without misinformation.
We need to identify what those pages are. Like, I would post rec center events on a Black Horse page, and I feel like I could, it's very relevant, but I didn't even know Black Horse had a page.
Right.
So I just post on Talkin' Plymouth. So if Black Horse has one, who else has one?
Well, right, and some of them, they have different rules. Like, there's one that's specifically the valley, like this side of Germantown Pike, that they wouldn't even let me post this survey in there. I'm surprised they let me be in there, but I basically explained that I'm the council person, so like, I kind of just want to be able to see what's happening, just in case.
Right.
But they're really
some of
weird
them
about
big
what
rules.
they'll allow being posted in there.
Advertising, like someone might take that as
Yeah.
advertising,
Yes.
Touched on that a little bit last time, saying also if we go on those, if we're not monitoring it, so we also want to make sure that we're in something that we believe in also. Do you know, as opposed to just putting ourselves into a page that maybe we don't agree with what's
Oh,
going on?
yeah.
Like, or if we go into it, do we say we endorse what's happening in
Right.
this page, but we're not there monitoring what's going on in it? So it probably works both ways for
Right.
them letting us in, and also do we want to be in if it's not monitored by someone like us? That makes sense?
Yeah, you're right. And we did also talk about maybe we offer them links. I think we talked a lot about last time, like providing links to a single source of truth. So if we do a good job with our website, maybe we don't count on the neighborhood pages. We don't give them like, here's some information, post it, but like, hey, here's the headline and a link to, so go to our website for more for information on that, from that page, as opposed to like counting on them to pass information along.
Yeah, and then make it, like you were saying, more accurate information.
Yeah, you were
Just a whisper
great.
down the lane.
Yeah.
It's more accurate if they go to the source. Yeah,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, and it also, I mean, from a township perspective, like, we do have limited resources for communication. It's not like someone's sitting at their desk all day long going, let me post something over here, let me post it over there, let me write a story for this. Like, there's a point at which we have to kind of leverage like a single source of truth
Exactly.
and point people, do a good job pointing people to it. I mean, where it's, the go find stuff topic. But is there anything else? I'm trying to just keep track of, like, as we're talking about Facebook, anything else we want to pull? So I've got, maybe we find out more about the pages, and maybe there's an opportunity to kind of leverage these spaces. I mean, even just other insights about Facebook in general.
What's Plymouth Township individual, the second one?
I think that's individual council members, so as council members, we have pages.
Yeah.
Which apparently people don't look at at all.
Well, that's good, because I haven't really been making an effort to update mine.
That's why you're not allowed on that
I
valley.
was gonna say that might be it too. Well, it does make me wonder if people use the group pages more because there's less members in the group than they may have on their like news feed, and just the way the algorithm works. If you don't engage with the content, and by that I mean like it or comment on it, it's gonna eventually stop showing you those posts in your feed. So it makes me wonder if like people are even seeing after a while like Plymouth Township's page if they didn't specifically interact with it. Whereas like I feel like the groups, it's like generally they're probably going to see it because there's less members and it's more in like chronological order.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point,
I mean, it's the highest one. So I
Yeah.
think that says something.
We don't really go out and see our neighbors and talk to them in person as much anymore.
And it's also, I feel like it's quicker. You could put out like, oh, does anyone know what's happening here? And you'll get like 20 answers in like 5 minutes, you know?
How many of these local groups are there?
I don't know, that's why we don't identify them. Who does?
Arrowwood, my neighborhood has
Yours
one.
has
I'm
one?
not on Facebook, but my daughter is, so. And it's very, very active.
What's it called? Do you know?
My,
Arrowhead neighborhood?
Arrowwood is our neighborhood name. Arrowwood's our neighborhood. But they have, you know, say there's one for,
Mine has one.
the Valley has one.
The Valley has one, but they're resident only, it says in the title.
What do you have to like? How do you confirm your residency?
I think they ask you questions. I guess they're doing the honor system. I don't know how they verify it. I don't know who runs that page.
Sounds like a nightmare to run.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
The
thinking.
Valley's big.
The Black Horse one says you must live in the Black Horse section of Plymouth. This group was created for those that live in the Black Horse section of Plymouth. It was created so neighbors could inform other neighbors of important things going on within the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's how most of them try to monitor.
Does your neighborhood have one?
Yeah. And again, I don't know who's running it, but
I mean, it's a Black Horse neighborhood, you can try. I mean, I don't, you know, you'd be like, hey, I was at a meeting and found out you had a page.
I don't want to like
Just
jump
move stuff back to,
the.
it's like. I'll try. If you don't want to see it, then just ignore it.
I don't want to jump to the solution, but it could possibly be also just finding an ambassador inside the group, because maybe if they don't let you.
Find the administrator usually.
Yeah, or if you say,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who the admin is.
Right.
I'll message them, see what,
yeah.
unless they
And
can tell me
She's
no.
on there, like here, if you want to see.
Does it list, like, you can find out who the ambassador is or the
Yeah, it says on there who the administrator is.
administrator is?
oh, what's your neighborhood group?
Oakwood something.
And I thought Chris had one too, because I think that's where I copied
Door
his
or,
posting.
do we have something next door?
Oh,
Yeah, I post on Nextdoor.
Next door.
this is East Plymouth Valley in my
Okay,
neighborhood.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Really.
I'll get like text or email.
Yeah, and they send out like push notifications. I put some stuff on there. I never get any interaction, but it's easy, it's free, so I
Okay.
post on there. It's like I lost my dog. Keep your eye out for my dog. You know, that kind of stuff.
What are we talking about?
Nextdoor.
Oh, I just downloaded that because
Yeah.
my younger brother, who's 21, was like, "You might see stuff in your neighborhood." But
Yeah.
right now it's like,
Sometimes you do.
yeah.
So it's not unique to a neighborhood, it's sort of the general area?
They say it's unique to a neighborhood. Like I post on what it's telling me is the community center's neighborhood, but I feel like it's way further reaching than that.
Yeah, because I'm getting like notifications of people posting stuff in Upper Marion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's a big definition of.
yeah.
Yeah, mine is called Oakwood at Plymouth. Again, private and want you to, they say, gotta even own your home. They don't even want you really being involved.
I just looked up Cold Point, which is close to where I live. It has one follower.
The administrator, probably.
Popular neighborhood.
That one didn't work.
It is small up there,
Yeah, it is kind of small.
on top of that hill.
I bet there's more. I'm sure, I would think Cardinal View has one. Right.
Yeah, probably.
And some other neighborhoods, I would
I think
imagine.
Hickory Town has one.
I'd be shocked if the new
Yeah, the new neighborhood.
Valley Estates didn't have one. Salpione's.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine they have one.
Sebastian, yeah.
I bet lots of neighborhoods have them.
All right, so what else should we take away from the Facebook findings here? Anything noteworthy?
I think you got it.
It seems like they all are used a lot, so I would continue to access that.
Obviously, not many people do.
Too much. Yeah, I know, same.
It's just such a different.
A little trouble, isn't he?
He's always in trouble. So yeah, are we moving on to X?
Yes.
Twitter. Well, obviously, it's not very popular among Plymouth residents.
Maybe that's where the 20-year-old come from. I don't know.
I don't even know who uses Twitter. Like,
I have no idea.
People either love it or don't.
That's, yeah, I agree.
it's just a different medium. You know, it's not a great. I don't know. It's a very strange place.
It is.
That's all I can say.
Very strange place.
So, are we good to just move past it?
Yeah, I don't think we need to really emphasize it much at all.
Nah.
Would a takeaway message be, I mean, thinking just forward a little bit around recommendations, does it make sense to say, like, we should just stop using it? Like, don't have an account there that we lightly manage or don't manage, even though there's nobody there, like, why, then maybe.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to, like, when she has me post something, or I post about a meeting coming up, I just, like, basically just copy and paste what I'm putting on Facebook, and I just, because someone sees it.
It's not a big deal.
No, it's not like taking up resources. It's very simple. People do view it because you can see the view count. And people do. And people like it. Some people share it. You don't know who does it. It's like very cryptic. But
So it's not a waste of resources.
I wouldn't say so. I don't think it's.
Okay.
It's not. There's not too much upkeep
The
involved.
juice is worth the squeeze.
And
I like that.
is it like with, is it not connected like with Facebook and Instagram where if you post one, you can set it to post on both?
I think you. I'm not sure if you can anymore because the API is basically application programming. You probably know it. You're a programmer. Yeah. I think it might have changed and it probably doesn't work anymore. But I could look into it. It might make that easier process. But
I think you're right, though. I think it changed. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't anymore.
And you're saying just for Twitter or even like the Instagram, Facebook?
Facebook and Instagram are connected. They're both Meta.
Aren't they owned by it's the same company now?
Yeah, it's Meta.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so X, we're just gonna keep doing what we do.
Oh,
but we're
yes.
not gonna-
I forgot about that
It's like the more innocent X.
Okay, Instagram.
I guess that they wanted to revive Twitter again.
I think.
Instagram does a good job.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram is great for you guys because you guys do a lot of flyers and such and pictures. We don't use it at all.
I would say we don't even have a township
Right.
Instagram account.
Yeah, and I don't really know how we would leverage it unless we started. I mean, for that hiring that we did, I put together a little Canva thing. We can start doing that more with just simple posting so that we can put something up on Instagram in that
You
way.
have to make flyers and
Yeah.
graphics and.
Because you can't like post words
images.
on Insta. You can,
Yep.
but you can do a caption,
Yeah.
but you need an image.
Yeah.
So it's something we could certainly leverage. That definitely requires a bit more resources because you have to put together the Canva project.
Yeah.
But that's really the templates are all there. It's pretty simple. So
You
if
could probably also set up all the Facebook to immediately share to Instagram.
Right.
All you have to do is go into like your settings in Facebook to like
Yeah.
connect them.
yeah, you definitely can. And you're right. There's flyers that we get a lot. Some posts like the state representative post. That's a little tricky because it's not.
Okay.
You basically have to redirect them to the link that they've posted. It's not really an image. You can't make an image out of it. But yeah, like a typical fly, like the Historical Society, you could easily put that up on Instagram. So as of right now, we do not have an account, but we could certainly talk about starting one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, when I'm used to doing both, it was to post to one and have it post to both sites. and you really didn't have to think about it, and vice versa. If you were posting to Instagram, it could post that to Facebook. That's what I was, one, like you're saying, not using many resources, and even if you're for graphics or whatever, even I guess in theory enhancing the Facebook post.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, like maybe we have a snow closure instead of just we're closed. You make it pretty,
Picture out of it.
and then you can put it to Instagram, and more people will see that because some people might have Instagram but not Facebook, and obviously Instagram is more popular than Twitter, so it might be worth doing.
But not that much more.
Not that much more.
Not that-
If you keep
yeah.
the one, you would keep the
Yeah.
other.
I mean, it's an interesting play. Yeah, you don't really go for like.
Yeah,
I don't really go to news. I don't go to Instagram for news per se.
That's the one
Right.
thing about
More like for,
Pictures.
yeah.
It's like lightheartedness.
Just- yeah.
There's pictures. It's not a great news platform, but we could certainly leverage it because obviously some people are there that might pick up on it.
But I have read that like Facebook, you should post an image as much as you can. It makes your post more, I don't know.
Liked.
Yeah.
Viewed.
I hate that it's about that, but yes.
Yeah.
People are more likely to engage with something with a photo.
They ruined the word like.
They did, right? Yeah.
So are we thinking we should start an Instagram account? Would that be a?
I don't think it would use many resources. It would just be part of that process of when we have something to post, we'll just post it there. And you can use, there's a web version, right? Or do you, there is, yeah. Like
I use Hootsuite.
I was gonna say, it's
So that's one that does everything,
most
right?
convenient to use an app.
Is that a paid platform? Okay.
But we have multiple users, so
Yeah.
you guys can jump on there.
Okay. I might take you up on that.
Does all three.
The only thing you have to be careful with is on Instagram, the links, if you post a link, the link won't be active on Instagram.
Yeah.
It'll be active on Facebook, but
But you
not
can't click it.
Instagram. Yeah.
But
Why
you
are
can
the-
copy and paste.
But you can copy and
That's what
paste
I
it,
do.
right.
Yeah. If people
I
want
wouldn't
to
Oh,
make
I
it
see.
complicated, like if I was doing it for myself, I would go into the Instagram post and change, I would have something in my bio that was the actual link.
Yes.
And I would say, link in bio.
Yeah, you can't put links in a caption.
Right.
I wonder why.
I don't know what that's about.
Bizarre.
Yeah, I know.
There's
I
gotta
always
be a
thought it
reason.
would be more convenient if it was just in the
But you
caption.
can copy and paste it from a computer.
Right,
not-
yeah.
But
But I'm not suggesting that you overcomplicate it and actually do all of that. It's time consuming.
Well, maybe we'll talk about Hootsuite.
I'd love to share it with you.
Preliminary recommendation would be at least to consider a township account, keep it light, mostly for announcements, not for information, link to something else, but just one more place that we know people are looking, but not if it expends a lot of resources. Is that?
Yeah.
One more thing about Instagram too, it is a slightly younger demographic generally than Facebook.
100%.
Yes.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, again, our results are, we have to remember it's coming from an older demographic. So, disregarding X, but running away from Instagram just based off of our survey may be missing
It is
20
younger.
and,
Right.
those people that didn't.
Exactly. There's definitely eyes out there for it. It's just,
Right.
we haven't got them in the data.
Right.
Probably worth having a presence, but not overcomplicating it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
All right, so then other community center communications. No surprise, looks like emails are the hottest item here, and program brochures.
That's a little shocking.
Would you say, well, I guess when you send a constant contact, they get as an email, right?
Yep.
Right, so that just solidifies
I
the,
love your.
What jumps out to me is Melody Hub is very small. So they use something a lot
yeah,
for the community center.
only 97.
Yeah, I mean,
And right now, we don't text in any way, right?
I mean, I don't know about you guys, do you guys have?
So
a test?
the only thing we have is our app does push notifications. We don't have, I mean, we probably have 500 users in that receive the push notifications. and right now we're only using it for cancellations, really. Like last minute, instructor sick, cancellation kind of thing.
Can they turn it on or
Yes.
off?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Do we have the app, is the app you said it was new?
No, it's not.
Do we have that in the survey, that they use the app?
I don't know, did we have that?
We don't really promote much through the app. The app is more like it's an older app, and we're actually looking to get a newer, updated one. But it's very like you can't really register for a program through the app. It's more informational than promotional.
Okay.
So like if you're a pass holder there already, you might use it to see when the gymnasium has open gym, but we're not like really promoting anything or spreading much information. Al, do you use the app?
I do.
You do? Do you have it, Sandy?
I found it to be kind of incomplete.
Yeah, it's not a very,
have a lot.
it doesn't have a lot of information in it.
No.
It's an app that's built for colleges, technically, that we kind of retrofitted for a rec center, like college, what are they called? I guess rec centers. But that has intramurals and like intramural schedules, that kind of stuff. So it's not the
I think it would
best.
get more use if it had more complete information.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my wife asked about water aerobics. So I went into the app to see where it was, and there was no information.
Yeah, it's not.
So then I got the thing at the center, the printed.
Yes,
thing,
the brochure,
that was
yeah.
all there, yeah.
So it's like if we redo this website and have an app component,
I'm sure you could. I'm sure they could make an app for you, but I don't know how much that would cost.
that's probably.
Probably an obscene amount.
Use apps or, I don't know.
I think the community center app is a good idea. It's just not being, if it was basically a little better.
Yeah, we're hopefully getting a new one
Oh, okay.
next year.
Probably a township app would be cool.
The problem is, the thing about the community center, there's a schedule of events and things happening and so on. Actually, you could just sort of piggyback. And just say GPCC, occurrences, and maybe have it toggle or something, and township events. I mean that it could actually do both.
Yeah, I don't, the app we're looking at is through our registration software, so I'm not 100% sure how it would work. But I have some demos on my phone from that company, and I could look to see if any of them do that.
Okay.
I have a question about the data here. So in terms of people, because not everybody completed the whole survey, but did everybody answer this question? So really only 15% of our 656 people don't look at anything from the community center? Or were there a whole bunch of people that didn't even answer the question, and that was just 15% of the?
Or I made a typo.
No, I'm not saying it's a typo, but I'm just saying.
No, I want to double check my work here. Let's see. So
No,
that's,
because I'm just thinking, I'm not saying the numbers don't add up. I'm saying it's remarkable if out of 656 people who answered the survey,
Yeah.
only 97%, or only 97 of them don't look at anything from the GPCC.
Yeah, 97. Yeah.
It's an attraction. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the reality.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, the other option is 200 people didn't answer this question. So subtract the 200 didn't answer the question, and it's really 97.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
You know what I'm
it.
saying? Like,
That would be a good thing to know, how many did not answer
how many
the
didn't
question.
answer the question?
10?
10 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's good to know, right? Like, like almost everybody looks at something from the GPCC. It depends what they look at, right? That varies, but they look at something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or multiple things.
Any of the
Or
people
multiple.
that,
Right,
that
yeah.
per copy.
I was
They-
you can choose more than one option.
Do they not use, they
I
use?
looked at my numbers, I'm like, I
I'm like,
really
sorry, how do we,
screwed up.
how do
I'm
we
like,
get
no,
1135?
they're gonna laugh at me, I'm not much fun.
No, we're not.
Older people, right, the community center.
Yeah, to that point though, like it's an attraction, right? And
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about how the township, like if we had a single source of truth and we're pointing people in different directions, but maybe we also need to think about how we can ask the community center to point people places for us. Right, like I don't want the community center to feel like you have to become the communication arm for the township, but like, why wouldn't we?
Honestly, we do get a lot of township phone calls. So, I mean, it already kind of happens.
So maybe we just need to think about like an appropriate way to do that and leverage the fact that everyone is looking at something from you or multiple things from you.
That's why I was thinking the app is sort of a,
Yeah.
I have
at least one entry
three,
point.
I have 3 demos that I have for the new app company, and it looks like we can link, say, the township website onto the app.
Yeah, that would be good. And you could probably announce township events.
Yes.
3.
As far as there's some,
That'd be easy to get to. 'Cause
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
And this one
township day
has a
at
web link.
Monroe Park or, you know.
Yeah.
They kind of outsource it, third party.
You might have to be careful to say,
So we could do
not
it
at the community center, but over
to the
here.
township website.
Yeah, but if we know people are looking here, why wouldn't we make it easy
So
to
it is possible.
communicate other events?
And too, I mean, you gotta think, this place was being refurbished, so, but too, the community center does have the receptionist at the desk, someone right there when you come in, which is a little different from here. You still, I think, still have to find where you wanna go. So it's still, I'm saying, although, you know, the refurbished building, new, and maybe that'll bring some people here, but you don't have that greeter to say, you know what I mean? Like,
It's just more hours that somebody's there.
Yeah, and this is a little bit more,
yeah, true.
it's not as easy to get to.
Well, this has everything, right? The community center has
Yeah,
brochures,
basically, right.
bulletin boards, yeah.
Right. But cause I'm saying the fact that, like, which could be a good thing, the brochures are being used at the community center, then even you could have those brochures here. You might not even need the person, someone here to greet, because brochures are being used. So you could come here and get a brochure, and you know what I mean? As far as just understanding the data and the different means that we could use to get information out.
Yeah, a lot of people use them.
Yeah, I mean, but again, the demographics, because I would, in this day and age, you would think everyone was trying to go away from paper, so, but, except for me, I still use paper for everything, but
A lot of it.
it's just better, yeah.
Easy to find.
Easy reminder.
Hence the survey.
It's easier to read, too.
That too.
Threads or anything of
Highlight.
significance, I printed.
Highlight, mark it up. If it's, you know, feeling it's lost, maybe it's lost under others. The app, I think, might be good, because it'll be like current, right there at your fingertips.
We sent out 2 emails for the survey, and I bet you that second spike.
That's what I'm thinking.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Sure it was, yeah.
Were they
Constant
all-
contact.
Do they want it text or
It's the same
email? That might be telling too.
I wonder if
Because your
it's a toy.
emails are so great. Text, I might put that, because I don't have to do 100,
Why would you?
200
Buddy system.
texts a day.
Yeah,
Like
Multiple
Yeah.
I've lost.
yeah, it's true, because we didn't ask that here because it's not a thing.
We didn't have it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. Okay, any other thoughts about GPCC communications? Cool, all right.
Okay, this is miscellaneous. Looks like the winners here are the digital signs, the township newsletter, flyers in the sewer bill, and just word of mouth. And also news sources as well. Look like they're up there as well, pretty up there. But it's good that people are reading the newsletter. People are still talking to each other. That's good. And
That's good.
digital signs, I'm surprised. That's a good. It's good that they're working.
I'm shocked about
I
that.
am too, yeah.
I mean, those gotta be expensive, it's good to see.
Yeah.
It's nice to see some kind of benefit out of that, or result out of that.
Yeah.
You know?
And then on the next page, I have what the other ones are, like kind of the greatest hits. The community center app, from a citizen board member, constant contact, more than the curve, from pickleball, class instructors, and Nextdoor.
Does this mean somebody wrote in this answer?
Yeah. And some of these come up multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And I spelled some of these wrong.
Every time I see pickleball, I picture Vlasic.
Oh, I see it now, yeah.
What do you picture?
Vlasic pickles. That sounds
I'm like
ridiculous.
pickleball, but it's nothing to do with pickles.
What are class instructors? I wonder what that means.
Aerobics instructors, preschool teachers,
Oh,
is
okay.
my guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, like the
Get their news.
exercise classes and the,
Yeah.
maybe even like the daycare.
Thinking about this word of mouth, which is good, right? I mean, people are talking to each other, and I mean, maybe we solve for that by making information so it's easier for people to find, so there's more relevant, timely information, less misinformation.
Right, yeah.
Well, we're not gonna stop neighbors from talking to each other, and we can't equip every neighbor with everything, but
Right.
I mean, maybe this in general gets to more good information being shared because it's easier to find.
Yes. I had the same thought. I also was like, oh, look, 6% of the people get their information from township council meetings. But wait, that's not where the word of mouth is happening, and they're getting it from their neighbors. I'm like,
I mean, that's what I was thinking, like, to me, the word of mouth was kind of coinciding with the neighborhood.
with the neighborhood groups, right, exactly.
I'm thinking like trash is the big thing. A lot of people want to know when trash
Yes.
is. So going onto the website to find out when the trash is difficult, but I could look across my street and see. I was
Exactly.
always know when, or I could
Yeah.
call somebody and kind of pull the immediate neighbors, figure that out a lot quicker than trying to.
I've noticed too, there's certain people in some of the groups that will post specifically about that.
Hot topic.
Yeah, just like notifying, like, oh, trash won't be happening. Yeah,
Karen does it a lot. Ramlet.
yeah.
But maybe to that point, like if we knew that there are things like that people are looking for, so maybe that's part of what we equip the neighborhood groups with.
Right.
Like, here's the leaf collection schedule for this fall. Here's, what's coming up here's holidays for 2025 and when trash will and won't be picked up. Like, why don't we give it to the administrator or an ambassador in the group or someone who puts it out there? So people don't even have to hunt it down or ask. Like, if we know that's where people look, like, make it easy to find.
Do the same thing on the website, put it at the top, trash schedule. Whatever that is.
You always have it on,
Yeah.
it's always on the front page when if you look on the calendar, it'll say election day, on the calendar it'll say no trash pickup if you're Tuesday, like coming up. So we do put it there, people are looking at it, but it's there, right on the front page.
Posted on these neighborhood pages, because doing the new website will take quite a while, right?
Yeah.
But short term, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's because it's me out there on the curb going like, oh yeah, trash can, or like, what is happening, or did it get picked up yet? Because I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and put it out. And I'm like, did the trash trucks come in? Nope, their trash is still there. I'm good. I guess don't put it out. I beat the trash truck. I get very excited about that. So. Grass didn't come a couple weeks ago, the grass ones, and then everybody left them out, and they came the next day. Either the trash men were like, we don't want to see these next week, or whatever. So, but no, I think it's a good place to put it too. I don't know why it is you think all these times like you'd remember, but you still, written on the calendar, it doesn't matter. Mark trash? Yes. Yeah.
Township newsletter gets a lot of traction too.
Yeah.
I'm wondering who does a great job putting that together. I will shout out. You're welcome.
Is that the one that's on, right on the front page, right? Somebody had asked me about having, it used to be mailed out, I guess?
Yes.
Or emailed, okay. And then I went to look, and you're right, it is, right?
We can always email it out to
Yeah.
our email list.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
flyers in the sewer bill.
Good idea.
Yeah.
It's pretty
People haven't
thick
seen
to
it.
like mail out at this point.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, I would assume it's
So many people just
expensive.
throw it away.
Right.
Not looking because they know all the same information's already on the website, so
Right.
they just don't.
I don't even get the sewer bill anymore. Like it's all emailed, so I don't get anything. Like the flyers and the sewer bill, it's weird to me because I don't get it.
Because mine is like yours, it's automatically debited, but I still get, I must have clicked to still have it.
To still have it come in the mail. No, mine's not automatic, but I definitely get the emails.
I get it.
But I don't get anything in the mail, so like I don't even see the flyer because the flyer doesn't come as part.
It's checkbooks.
Like it's not attached in the email.
I do not do
I do it on my
that.
phone. I did
mean?
advance it to my phone. I
So for
keep
the-
it on my phone.
For the flyers and the sewer bill, what are the chances you can get the flyer attached when you get the sewer bill emailed?
I talked to Pat about that, and he said it's not possible.
Because I don't see the flyers because it's all email related.
Most people get it mailed. I think he said it's a very small percentage that do not get it mailed, I believe.
It's just
When
me.
that happened, if I clicked something or when, I don't know. Yeah.
I have his email at the top of my list, so I don't forget.
It's mostly community center stuff in the sewer bill, though, right?
It's always,
Yeah.
it's almost always, yeah.
It looks like a page from the brochure.
It is a page from the
Yeah.
brochure.
Yeah.
I do it.
Makes sense.
Somebody asks for a special announcement.
Right,
That's all you,
right.
but sometimes we'll say you can only have like
3 pages.
3 sides instead of
EAV
4 sides,
once a
or
page.
like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Bag survey, the plastic bags, they
Yep.
took a page or half a page or something, yeah. But pretty much it's you guys.
So I'm just thinking of a couple of things with the township newsletter. I think I heard Joanna offer to send it out via email, which is nice. Knowing how many people look there. And what if that's another thing we just made available, made it easier for the neighborhood groups to find it? Like, here's a link.
Yeah.
If we know people like the newsletter and we can continue to put things in there.
That's something for people, hold that email for the 6 months duration, because we do the newsletter twice a year. So if they get it in an email today, they might read it, see what's up, and then that's gonna like, either get
delete
pushed
it.
down in their box, they'll
Yeah.
delete it, get pushed down in their box.
Well, we can always say,
But they at least-
copy of the newsletter can be found on the township website's homepage.
Yeah.
You might just
Right.
breeze over it, but like maybe later you'll be like,
Just
oh, I think I.
remind them where to go.
Can you send a link in that email? Because finding that page is tricky.
Yes, yep, we can totally send a. In fact, that's what I would do. I would link it back to the website, honestly, directly to the newsletter.
So here's a crazy question. Since so many people, I mean, a large percentage of the people who responded to this question like the newsletter and are reading the newsletter, instead of the newsletter coming out twice a year, would it make sense to put the newsletter out 3 times a year?
I was
Well,
Someone wanted it
Brandon.
1 month. Every month, someone wanted it.
I would do it quarterly.
Yeah, quarterly seems more reasonable.
Like I feel like the seasons change quarterly. Like you have leaf collections over here, and then Christmas tree collections over here, and whatever's happening is I don't know. Doing something with the water in the summer, like. I'm also not the one doing all the work.
It's a lot of work.
I'm just saying.
It's a lot of work, and I mean, they do it if you want them to do it, but each department head has to, and the fire company, the ambulance, so we have to get, the community, everybody
Sometimes
has
it
to.
takes a whole month just to get
It takes
information.
a month, we give like 6 weeks for people to give all their articles in. We do it September 1, that always covers like the fall and winter. And then the fire marshal's topics are pertinent to that, like your winter safety tips and that. And then we have the spring, summer that comes out March 1st. So, I mean, it is a lot of work.
We could always keep the two as they are.
Because all the information is
department
in
heads and
there.
stuff, and then we could do 2 small supplements, like 2 or 3 pages.
That's what I was gonna say, what if the department heads didn't have something every single time? They had it when there's relevant seasonal news.
Right.
So, Mike doesn't have to make something up for spring if there's no spring topic, if he did a winter and he's gonna do a summer. Because I was thinking the same thing, like what if each one was maybe a little shorter, but it came out more often, so the information felt fresher, more seasonal?
So I also know, so I was on Lower Gwyned's site again. They did a communications survey. One of the biggest things they said, from their responses is people like bite-sized pieces of information. So it doesn't feel like I have to read a book. And I feel like that's why people like social media. Because it's just a little bit of information.
They want it like every day, like so that.
I mean, I'm not
what I don't
saying
want.
that you
That's
need,
me.
need to do it every day.
No, I know, but,
Yeah.
but some people who want the bite sizes, but they're constantly looking at, like, how often would you, if you gave it bite sized, how often would you have to do that newsletter? Probably weekly.
Oh yeah, and I'm not suggesting that. I'm just in support of doing it more frequently with less information, not doing it weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I would
not
not.
bite-sized, but they get a couple of cookies instead of a whole package of cookies.
I would not do it weekly, but like if you figure you do it in March and September, I'm gonna be honest, if I read it in September, it's the end of October, I don't even know what it said anymore. And by the time I get to March, I'm never gonna know what it said in
But it's always
September.
gonna be on the website. It's always gonna be there.
I know, but I think the
It's always
more,
gonna be there.
I think the way that technology is driven today, you don't have to remember, yes, you have to remember where to go, but I'm gonna need that pertinent stuff, like, I need to know certain.
Trash.
Yeah, like just a couple things that I need to remember, like each little quarter for something, and then all the other things I get. And maybe it's just a page or 2 pages with just critical information. I could say critical, but important information just for like those 3 months, like January, February, March. Here's a couple of bullet points. Here's what's happening. Refer to the newsletter on the website for all your other information. But there's a couple of things, and then you just do it again in April, and I don't know.
Short.
Just-
That would be
yeah, like
easier
not
than
the horse.
Yeah,
Newsletters is a lot
Like
more.
highlight.
Highlight the big topic. Yeah, highlight the big topic.
I think we have to, maybe it's about changing our mental model for what the newsletter is.
Right.
Right, so we can call it a newsletter, but they're just gonna be more concise, more seasonal, it'll be an abbreviated version of the current newsletter, but everything in there is just a little fresher.
And you could leave the 2, however we do it now, just pop the other ones in the middle and whatever it may be. Like if you're still gonna, I don't wanna mess up the routine that's here. Like if you're still getting all the department heads to give you what you need to do twice a year, okay, leave it be and then just pop a couple things in the middle and, I don't know.
Oh, that makes more sense. That's easier, I think, than.
Yeah.
It's a big production. It's a big production to do, and to do it, but like 2, and then just some more current stuff in between might be easier.
Maybe some is already what's already in the.
Like it's all gonna be in there.
Might just be
That's my point. It's all
like the same thing, like if you did the fall leaf collection, when is your 6th month? So June would have your fall leaf collection, then you do it again in.
Well, that's like September 1, March 1. I guess we do December 1 and June 1 or something like that.
Okay, so it's like if it's still current, like whatever that event is still going on, like just like another, it's not new information, you're just reposting it again.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to get them to do it again. You're just putting it in to refresh people's memory.
Yeah, many pages.
It goes When do they come out?
March 1 and September 1, so we could do December 1 and June 1.
I just want to point out one thing. It's still the highest thing on the list, so my sort of thinking would be don't break what's there,
Yeah, keep it.
because it's not broken.
Just thinking.
If you want to do something, sort of consider it as a trial, it seems like. And then see if that's better.
Yeah, I think it's just leveraging something that works. I mean, my suggestion wasn't like, take away something that does work. It's
Oh,
more just
yeah.
leverage something that works.
Yeah.
If people look there and they like it, and the thought about abbreviating it is just like, yeah, if it's a production and it would be, everyone would want to tear all their hair out to do it 4 times a year, don't make it a hair tearing out escapade, like shorten them up or do the 2 regular ones and 2 short ones. I mean, find some way to make it manageable from a resource perspective, but knowing that people look there and it's a great way to get things out that are timely.
What you could do too is for all the department heads, we're gonna go to 4 and 2 of them are gonna be shorter. Think between the 2 that you do big and tell me something good that happened in the township in the middle. And it doesn't have to be for every department head, right? So if
you have
something
it,
really good happened
next
at
3 months.
the fire company, then we're just gonna post that as that's our happy spot. Here's what's going on in the township. And then next time it might be facilities has something going on or whatever it may be. But find something like with that positivity to be like, hey, this is something great that happened in the midst of all this and.
Yeah.
Or something
It's
that's
nice to
coming
see
up in the
something.
next 2 or 3 months.
You don't have to make stuff up, but if you have it, like, it's a great way to put it out there. And I think you're right, Chris. I think people like bite-sized chunks. I think people have short attention spans from things like Twitter and Instagram and even Facebook. If it's more than a paragraph, people freak out.
Exactly.
So the more we can, we're not going to turn it into a paragraph, but the more we can make it feel like it's a bite of something.
Yeah.
Can you see the old newsletters?
My microphone.
Do we what, save them?
Can you see old newsletters, or once you put a new newsletter?
Keep one on the website at
They're
a
all
time.
in there in the
They
document.
are
buried.
documents?
They're buried.
I've got
They're
several
there.
old ones.
They're in the documents.
Between ones, will that replace the other one?
Well, we only have one on the front page, right? The current one.
The current.
One is right up on the home page, but you're saying the rest are in the documents if you ever wanted to go back.
But you probably have to hunt, but not on our new website. No, I see what you're saying. If we're replacing them more quickly, then someone might want to go back and look at what was just in there for the minute.
More than one.
I just, it's like,
It's got like a catch
Or think, I mean,
highlight.
I just,
they don't think critically.
Right now, so I don't know, or is it?
Karen, there's this thing about like it can't.
I was saying like, don't
Make
reinvent the
something
wheel, or
accessible,
do people
make
come
it like
back and look
2
at
to
it
3
multiple
clicks.
times, 'cause it's right there?
To get to it.
if it takes more than that, it's.
If it takes more than that, people are going to abandon it
And then do
completely.
they need to keep coming back?
Well, documents is on the front page, you get documents, and then you drop down newsletters.
Enough information there. that they can
The
read.
year that you want.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I am not that person. I'm like, I'm gonna find this. If I can't find it right away, it's gonna make me mad, and then I'm gonna be even more concerned with finding it.
The one thing about our website is that the search function is not great.
Oh, yes,
Like,
I've
you
tried to
wanna
use
search
that.
for-
Yes.
Like if you search newsletter, you're gonna get anything that has newsletter in it.
Yeah.
And it's not ordered by relevancy. Like,
Right.
So that could use some work.
Hence the new web.
Hence the new website, right.
And I just think like some things have just changed with like the way websites are set up.
The whole design philosophy of websites is very
Yes.
different now. So a lot of people are used to one way, and then it's like you go back, wow, this looks antiquated.
Right.
Well, plus a lot of people do it on their phones now.
Yeah, and ours is not built
Ours
for
is
phone.
not.
Yeah, ours is not great.
Which is why probably people can't find it.
That's what we should
A
have.
huge part of it. I
They're
didn't
on the screen
even
this
think
big.
of
That
that
should have been
until
a,
now.
we should have put that as a question. How do you access?
What device?
Yeah,
do you
what
use?
do you
Website.
willing to say?
Right. Most people use their phones.
Like, that would be a big.
I would have.
It was overwhelming.
90%
yeah.
of people use their phones.
And then that would
That's-
be like, well, that's why you're having a horrible time. Because it's
It builds.
But it all gets
Yeah,
crunched
and it's
up.
not.
all
It gets
laid out differently.
Yeah.
Missing things.
Yep.
I've even gone into
Darn,
ones
that's a
where,
missed
like,
opportunity.
It'll say like to go to full website, like it'll
Yes.
give you like the abbreviated
Yeah.
version, and then you gotta click to get to the full website to get to the drop downs, but yeah, that's. a
Ours
really
is
good
not
point.
website, phone compatible.
In hindsight, I wish we'd add that to the questionnaire, but.
But we probably know the answer, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
mostly.
yes.
It's probably
A
mostly
lot.
phones.
People are on the go.
Brandon, do you have any sense of how often, like, we post the newsletter on the homepage, and I imagine it gets a lot of traction right away, but how, like, people going back over and over again, like, as it's sitting up there in month 2 or 3 or 4? Because I think Becky had a good question about, if we take it down, if we replace it like on a quarterly basis, okay, now the new highlights one is up, and we take down the one that's there, are people going to be like, hey, wait, I was still referencing that? You have any sense of like how much attention it gets after it's been
I'm
sitting?
sure I could run like analytics on it to see how much it's been clicked on. But I feel like since it's not like I feel like the printed version, what was nice about the printed version was that maybe they would keep it like when you get like a pizza shop menu, you put it in your closet. You could always pull it back out and refer to it. Mm-hmm. But online, maybe not so much. Might be like a one and done thing. But I think some people certainly go back and look at it.
Would be able to have the news, the semi-annual newsletter, and then the update or right with it, so that you could get the most current news plus the semi-annual newsletter, the full document.
Yeah.
Could you put both like one below the other on that homepage or on the new website?
The new website will give us a lot more opportunities
Like
to put links.
them
Yeah, so the last 2 are there.
We can only do like 5. Like we're at our max.
We're at our max. Okay, five things on there. Okay. Yeah, we always have to decide what
Maybe
where
that's-
it goes if something else gets added.
Yeah, the last full one is still there.
Right, because that obviously was good for 6 months. People might be like, wait, where'd it go? Like, so many people use it, and then we go change it, to your point, like, why change it if it works? Unless we could add to it those highlights of what's like, leaf collection is like, September, it's still pretty current, but even in October or something, I would, or
So on-
November, a little update, because when,
Yeah. That's a good thought.
I don't have to think about that newsletter, I don't know what's on it.
New website could probably do anything we wanted to do, but the current one, besides the little icon for the newsletter, below there are quick links.
Those are your 5.
And that's where we put the coming down, click. So you could either put,
Yeah, quick link.
you could, it could still be right on the front homepage, and you could say like newsletter update or
It's something catchy.
Yeah.
in there.
That's good.
Yeah, like we've got Brandon has it up here. We've got the quick links. So we just added the Conneetown News, put some files in there, but.
Where's the newsletter on that?
Up at the top.
Oh, the top, right?
We're up to like,
But the
we're
website
up to
had
like
it.
31 pages. I don't know how many you used to have during the printed version.
The newsletter.
Like, you could span that information out, to accommodate those
That's how
additional update.
it comes
ones.
Probably was longer because we had
I
advertised.
wonder, I mean,
Oh,
nobody's
yeah.
going to
Remember
scroll
Hometown Press and
5
have
times,
ads.
Yeah.
to dig.
Well, hopefully our new website will be more mobile.
Oh, they all are today, yeah. See, Karen, on the phone, this is
It's harder to see.
so people,
Pretty.
it just feels like you have to dig.
Then you
scroll
click on the little,
Scrolling.
look on the little.
I mean, the quick links
hammer.
aren't even second, yeah.
It's like all like, it's just so long.
Yeah, because it takes all of the menus and drops it vertically oriented, yeah.
That's a problem. Why people they can't find it. It's not on a bigger screen.
Like, I think, honestly, when you're on the website, on our website, like on the PC, I don't know, I think it's pretty
I agree.
straightforward. But on the phone, it's a disaster.
Yeah,
Mostly on a PC 4 times a year.
I mean, minimal.
Chromebook or like an iPad or anything.
I'm gonna go.
I think an
what about
iPad would
Township
come up.
now?
Trying to remember like.
An iPad would come up.
It would probably do
It
very
looked a little bit
similar.
better though.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little
'cause
better,
it's
but
bigger.
it works, yeah.
It's a bigger screen.
If you want to see, I have an iPad. You just have to give me the problem.
Plymouth Township.
I don't know.
www.plymouthtownship.org.
When was the last time the
should be a guest
the
account.
newsletter went out to all
Yeah.
in paper?
In prior to COVID.
Prior to COVID.
So 5 years now, 4 or 5 years now, because we used to use a company called Hometown Press. We had a lot of advertisements in the newsletter, and the advertisements paid for the printing of the newsletter, but we had to pay for the postage. So it was that helped. Once we put ads in, it helped the costs go down as far as the printing expense, because it's color glossy. It was a nice newsletter, but but we still paid for postage. And then with COVID, Rosemary didn't come back to do any of the ads, and we kind of went away from hometown, so then we just decided to take it in-house and go paperless, and I'm sure that was a council decision at the time, but
You can play with it, I don't know.
it's right, on a computer, it's much, much easier
I just typed in Plymouth
than a
Data.
phone.
Don't.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at it on
He fixed it.
Yeah, I saw it today.
Okay, well, anything else from our miscellaneous findings that's worth taking note of?
What's going on?
Now that I've wreaked havoc on the traffic newsletter.
The way that it was
It's the same.
coded.
Oh, yeah.
Just like on your phone.
Like a phone.
Same.
The whole, yeah.
So,
Oh.
turn the iPad.
Oh, look at that.
So maybe you wanna look at that.
That's much better. That is much better.
That's the same.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. I wonder if,
But
Yeah,
I
you
was
could,
gonna
but-
say, what with the phone was.
I would never think to do that.
I was gonna say.
Handed it to me and I flipped it.
Well, it could be a.
Turn it.
It's still not great.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But it's just,
Oh, yeah, it doesn't really do that on the phone.
That's because why would they go to council?
Cooking with Lorna.
Right, right.
Did I put that on the township's calendar?
Oh, boy, yes, I saw that.
This is an eye test.
I saw that.
I don't usually put it on.
Oh, yeah.
I had to take my glasses off to see.
That's like when we know it's really bad, when the glasses come off.
Mess up, it was, the date was right.
Open it up. No, that classes sounds like a really cute idea.
Put them on the screen, I can't read that.
Yeah, this one in particular is not, and I think it's because people don't know what the food is. It's
What is it? Which was this one?
it's two pastas. I can't even pronounce them. They're very Italian, but like tiramisu, pepe de. It's basically pepper and cheese in English. Yes, and the other one. Two fancy things. It's parent-child. I mean, they love them.
Their kids probably eat butter noodles.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you want for dinner? Noodles.
I love me some butter.
Me too.
Probably go together.
sorry about the eye exam.
Pasta carbonara.
I always prefer the screen up here.
Yeah, they probably have no idea
A
what
little
they
more
do.
helpful.
Too fancy.
Yeah.
Lasagna was popular.
Are we ready to talk about this slide then?
Yes.
All right, so this is the push versus pull versus not interested. Green is push, like opting in for updates. Blue is make it easier for me to find it, and not interested is yellow. So it looks like for most of these, people like the push idea. But having things nice and easy to find is also quite popular for pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Updates from township citizen boards, they want it just to be easy. They don't really want as many pushes for that one. Definitely trash. Meeting events, that's sort of, they're kind of,
Updates from police.
So to me, this is kind of maybe what should be in that supplemental newsletter. I mean, we don't need to write big stories or just facts, just information.
Right.
Well, it's going to be closed from boop, boop, boop to question mark. You know, like just the information people want.
And I know this is not good, but I'm like have the newsletter up right now and I'm looking at the fire marshal's one and I'm like, I'm not reading all this. And I realize that's like fire safety. And I'm like, sorry, I don't have time for that.
You saved my life.
But I have to tell you, the stormwater one, like, this is the fish tank and this is the drain,
Yes.
which has been there forever, but we have to publish stormwater information like so many places and so many times a year to get credit from, with the DEP. So there's some, some of the things you see for over and over and you're like, don't they ever want to change this? But it's required advertising
Smokey
for
the Bear
our
requires
MS4.
us to
Yeah.
have that in there.
Yeah. So you put that chimney, you light it without a permit. Oh, told you.
Yeah.
But but some of that stuff is like required just for our MS4 permit and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I know it's boring, but it's some of that you see over and over the same.
The recycling.
With the fire
one, my
marshal too,
husband
like
used the last thing on recycling.
put the barbecue grill on the deck, that kind of
I
stuff.
go through the recycling bin and I'm like, none of this is recyclable.
If in doubt, throw it out.
Yep. He's always putting those single-use plastic bags in there, and I'm like, dude,
I know they say
how many times do I have to tell you? And now at this point, I'm like, you're embarrassing me. They're gonna know I'm a council person, and you're not following the rules.
I guess we should probably talk about what we think of this, and which one should we give the opt-in option for? Honestly, any information should be easy enough for people to find, but I don't think every single one of these needs a push option. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, right?
I would include it, because if there's people that want it that way, why not give it to
I
them?
think
Yes, you're right.
yeah.
Right, right.
Or
Let's just
email,
limit.
whatever they choose. Most of the websites we saw, I felt like had that login section for you to create an account, which is where I think all these things actually are, where you can opt in and out.
Yeah.
Right, by person, by
Yeah.
email, or
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to text, you have to put your phone number in.
Right.
So,
But we just have to be sure if we're saying you can opt in for this, that somewhere magically that information is available, right? I mean,
Well, exactly.
We're gonna tell you every time there's a road closure,
these are 20 of these.
where's that coming from?
Well, and then I remember Karen said that one can be complicated because we don't always know if it's not our road. We don't know about road works or road
In
closures.
Georgia, we don't get copies of the permits.
Right.
I mean, Ridge Pike, they do have a committee with the emergency services now because, they have to make sure there's always a way to get through.
Yeah.
So they do have meetings and they give them that information, but otherwise, we don't have permits, they don't need our permission or approval, so we don't always know.
I think the deal is we'll tell you what we know.
Yeah.
If we don't know, we don't know, but if
And
we,
then you go to the PennDOT website, and the county, they always tell you what their roads are closed.
yeah, if we have a line of sight to something, whether it's our own work or the county's work or state work, well,
You could link their websites.
you can't be mad if there's something we didn't tell you about because.
It's not under our control.
That's when you'll find it in the neighborhood watches.
So I have a comment. I would say that a lot of these things, especially the ones where the green bar is kind of short relative to the blue bar, is stuff that people kind of, if you ask a question, would you like a cookie or something? People say, oh, yeah, sure, that'd be great. But it may not be something that, it sounds great in concept, but it may not necessarily be all that important to them. But if you ask them, they're going to say yes. So I would focus on the ones where the green bar is definitely longer.
Yeah.
And those would be the high priority ones to try to implement. And then the others, yeah, sure, if you can. Because those are the ones where there's a pretty strong preference to be notified. Those are the ones that would be the most added value.
Right. People actually wrote they would like push notifications for township council. I don't know what the rest of that is, but
Yeah, that's a real high priority one.
it's also the blue line is way bigger for that one.
Right.
Now, that may be one where,
Township council meetings, agendas, and events.
Agendas and events.
But this is also, this is gonna go on the resident.
right.
So really, I think we use this to, who's building the website?
Somebody actually,
Or like our,
that's my point.
the company.
Yeah,
Make a conscious decision, we're sending this out, right?
Yes.
As opposed to, so that takes effort, so
Right, well, I
that's
think
why.
we'd have to find, when we they build the website, they'll be the ones telling us, yes, we can push this out, and this is how it's done, or it's too complicated to push this out.
I don't know, like
Push
how.
out 10 things, 5
I was
things.
gonna say, it makes me wonder also what the pricing structure will be for that, and if it's like attached to like, if you start pushing out everything, then it's gonna cost a lot more.
Each one is
You
like
know?
X amount of money because
Right.
they have business models. So
Yeah.
I mean, you make a great point. Why don't just add all of them? Wouldn't hurt.
If
But
it's
yeah,
not extra money.
we'll see what
Right.
if
Yeah,
it
yeah, it's more
technology
interesting.
accommodates.
Will be the one that.
The point I was trying to make is that somebody has to sit down and say, okay, let's push this out, right? I mean, that's a conscious decision. Somebody has to have that job.
Yeah, well, that's what we need to find out more about.
Yeah.
Because like, I know White Marsh, for example, I could go on the White Marsh website and I could say, send me your Board of Supervisors agenda. And I get it every month. And I think that's automated. Like, I don't think there's somebody
Yeah, maybe
backstage
so.
going, send to Lynn today.
Okay.
I think you would basically.
But to
That's
your-
true.
but to
If
your
it's
point,
automated, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah, but to your point, there may be some things that are not that automated, that someone's gotta go, hey, there's a road closure, like, that's not, there's no
Right.
automatic something happening. Someone's gotta go, there's a message that's gotta go out today because we find out
It is,
Mike
but
is closed.
But if it depends what you're using. I know the schools, like you can use, Swift K-12, or you can use School Messenger, you can use things like that. And if you have that messaging board built in, then somebody goes in and types in, there's an emergency, accident, Ridge Pike is closed from Belvar to Chemical, and yes, and you pop that out. So whatever's in that website, whatever that programming, is for that Swift K-12, or whatever's not Educate, I only know Educate side, sorry. That's what you can actually go in, like we could do it through Power School. Like, we were at the schools, and you're like, oh my gosh, the buses are gonna be late, let's send out this whole entire thing to the whole group of people that have opted in. And you just kind of send that out for those emergency one-offs, like, there's a snow closure for all the schools, township buildings also closing at 1:00, make sure your cars are parked in the driveway kind of thing, something like that. We gotta figure out what the website's gonna build to have that capability to send that back out.
So maybe what this group can do is recommend, like, where we should, kind of to your point, Al, there are some of these things we should just say, like, try to make them opt in, like, look at the big green bar. So maybe the group recommends it, but then when it's time to ask our website platform, like, can we do it? They may tell us, like, yeah, that's automated, and hey, someone's gonna have to manage this one. And then ultimately, someone will, council, township manager, IT in combination, make a decision about, is that feasible? Is it financially, is that the financially prudent thing to do or not? But I would say this group, you're in a great place to say, no, like, let's recommend pushing certain things out and pull for others. I mean, we're looking at this data, you guys are all smart, like, let's come up with that list of push, pull. And if at the end of the day it's not doable, it's not doable, but I can make a recommendation.
Yeah, I don't know how it would actually work.
I say the 5 topics that the green bars are bigger than
Maybe
blue
you would
bars.
like tag it or something like.
There's like 5 of them, like, I don't know, 5 of them. Yeah, there's 5.
Tag like agenda.
Yeah, the top three.
Documents regular meeting, and then it blasts it out.
Never done anything.
I'd have to see what it looks like.
The thing is, they seem like the ones that
I don't even know what that
came
looks
up
like.
with as far as, the big ones.
I can't read those words, but I can see the bars, I'm good. I'll let you take your glasses off, you read them.
5, and they're kind of lumped together. Police, public safety, and there's road, trash, community events.
That's interesting. Well, I think if it's like easy, that like what you're saying is like White Marsh's website, it's easy for you to opt into those agendas or whatever. If it's easy to add, I would throw that on there too, because maybe that reminds somebody to stay engaged,
Yeah, if it's easy to do, that would be the key.
So anything else that's like easy and automated.
Yeah.
But like we should work, the must-dos should be the 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm also assuming that at any point in time, if a user wants to opt out, they can.
Right. If they start to get too many,
Right.
what did I say, yes
If
to?
they're like, wow, this is not what I thought I signed up for.
People have opted out of our code red,
Right,
our
right.
automated emergency system, and people opt out because they don't want too many, and they don't get too many.
Too many emergencies, just stop telling us.
But we've had people opt out after they stop, and then they go,
Yes.
don't want it, don't even tell me.
Yeah, I mean, because after you look at the 5, right, you got like the new business. That's going to be, I'm thinking specific. Everyone, I don't think would want that.
No, it'd be location specific primarily.
And then same thing with the proposed land development. Everyone's not going to, I don't think.
It's pretty even.
Unless it's like the mall or something like that.
It's something bigger. Right?
Yeah,
Second from the bottom.
those are things that are easy to find on that website.
Really work on making those easy to find.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, hey, you asked me, I said I want this, but we have to convert it, we have to make it really easy.
And like she said, maybe those are the type things that go on those inner
Oh, the town,
newsletters.
yeah, the town,
Right,
the
when those-
neighborhood one.
Oh, it's a good.
When those issues come
Yeah,
up, we gotta,
the newsletter could be sort of a
Right.
push method
Right.
also.
if that land development, something is big, then you put that there and you have that where they're going to look for things.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
So make it easy to find doesn't just mean website, but maybe that's where we leverage the newsletter, neighborhood groups. If we know people are hunting this stuff down, whatever it happens to be, new business, land development, trash, use the places we know people go.
Hey Lynn, I'm
That's a
on
great point.
Way Marsh, how they have theirs set up. And they have quite a lot. And it's also interesting that some have email and then some have phone. So that's like another thing we'd have to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we want this, but do we want it to be exclusively email or phone or both?
Yeah.
That's another conversation. But there's a lot here.
Yeah, there is a lot.
News flash.
And you can get all their citizen boards, stuff from their citizen boards. I mean, there's a lot of it. And maybe we'll find out, we'll be pleasantly surprised that it's super easy to automate, and
Yeah,
Yep,
there you have it.
yeah.
possible.
I mean, that would
Yeah, I'm thinking like the citizen board and maybe well, I guess you have to write some stuff in there. But I'm thinking you don't necessarily have to write it that day. You could write it and have it sent every third Thursday or something like that. Same thing like with the council meetings.
right.
Just automate them,
Yeah, so,
couple days
Yeah.
before or whatever.
If you-
Don't forget this week's council.
It's probably something where if you drop it over here, it kind of propagates.
right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I would bet happens, right? If you put the agendas here or the meeting minutes, and then it
Right.
just, it goes.
Yeah, once you say complete or whatever, it
Yeah.
gets.
That would be nice.
But as you asked for the recommendation, I would agree with the top 5. That's everyone's.
Those are the ones that
Yeah.
are most important.
And then after talking with the developer, we could get 10. Let's get 10.
You
Yeah,
know,
there you
these
go.
might be, you can bolt them on yourselves. Rather than going to the vendor, they might just give you the tools and the template, and you might be able to add them as you please. So there's a lot, there's questions there.
I have a question. Would it be possible to find out from White Marsh how many people subscribe to each of those options? I think?
What's the question again? Sorry.
Yes.
From White Marsh?
Ask White Marsh, how many people have opted into these things?
Those they have.
I'm sure we can.
Because that would, if there, like I said, there's some where people say, yeah, that's great in concept, but when they actually do try it, it either doesn't, they don't really want it, or they decide they don't want it.
It's the same thing, right? They could be offering the world without knowing.
Yeah.
These final 3.
You know what, Karen, I was also gonna.
For the world, but everybody goes to Coney Island.
Think of
Exactly.
think like thinking that it's like
A whole bunch of different
It's-
things for like
it's
notifying
like
people.
meant for municipality websites.
Like that. And because
And you
her,
probably can
their
do, like,
website is one of the
probably a
websites that
whole page where you can edit.
where it doesn't say who makes it.
Any,
Okay.
any opt-in we should focus on today?
Or next month's meeting, it'll say, oh, this is an agenda.
Okay.
This requires me,
That makes sense.
but granular, I guess.
I don't believe 20% of people are not interested in trash. Everyone pays attention to trash, everyone does.
Unless they live in an apartment.
Unless they
Or
were-
a non-resident.
Oh,
Non-resident.
good point,
Yeah.
good point.
Worried about my trash and my neighbor's trash.
Or, or like me, I mean, well, I wouldn't worry, I don't have to worry about the township's trash, cause my little development has their own time. So it could be
All
some of
right,
that.
fair enough. Duly noted.
All the apartment dwellers, they don't care.
Yeah, no, you're right about
All the
that.
townhome.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like if my daughter took the survey, she's 23, she doesn't care.
Yeah, like, whatever, if it comes, it comes.
Yeah, mom and dad handle that.
Okay.
Wow, alert
I
notification.
know.
The robocalls are very popular.
People opt out.
Yeah, I definitely don't want a phone call.
It's pretty even split overall between text and email.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I expected, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm the
You got the flip.
I thought text would have been.
That's
I
what
feel like there's
I
certain
thought text would have been higher.
I feel like there are certain things though that I wouldn't want via text. Like I don't need agendas for the council meetings via text. I'd rather get that via email.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But if you want to let me know I'm not getting my trash picked up, that'd be
As a
convenient
text.
as
Yeah.
text.
Yeah.
88 people skipped this.
Really?
They don't care about any of it.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if that was a multiple answer question or was it a single. I don't remember. I gotta look that up.
Oh, if you could choose multiple?
I can't remember what the question was.
Yeah, that is a good
I'm
question.
gonna go back to this.
I realize it's almost 8:30, friends. Is everybody okay if we
Yeah, it's a
go
checkbox.
past 8:30 or?
It was just one or the other.
You could do all three if you want.
Oh, you could.
Ah.
Okay.
I was getting code red phone calls and I opted out of that. I was like this, yeah.
Yeah, other people do, I know.
Yeah, I mean, the text I like. The
And
email
and you
or
could
the-
sign up for the ones, that, you know, email, text, phone calls,
Yeah.
and then just drop the, and you rearrange what you don't want.
I was gonna say, I think I signed up for all of them and I was like,
Too much.
it's a little much.
Yeah, you can back it off.
So you wanna go to the last one?
So
Okay,
any
how about
other highlights from alert notifications that we want to call out? I think you do raise a really interesting question though, Kristen, about text versus email and what it is. Like, are you really looking at an agenda or meeting minutes
Right.
via text?
No.
Maybe that's why White Marsh has those options. Some
Yeah.
have text options and some don't.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe some are text or email and some are just text or some are just email.
yeah.
Text needs to be short.
Yeah.
Short.
I could see,
Yeah, something short and sweet.
I think a reminder, like, there's a township meeting tonight, great text, but here's the agenda, use the link to look at it. I'd rather get that in email.
Yeah, yeah.
Text is more urgent.
So maybe short,
Alerts.
control that through when they're actually opting in, through what the choice is.
Right.
Cool. All right.
I like the first comment.
Did you read
Yeah,
that?
I was super excited about some of them.
So this is just the greatest hits I found. A lot of them were like redundant. But, these ones,
First one redundant.
It's like that guy.
this is the first
About the township.
time I've seen that. So I'll just kind of read through them. We can talk about them. This is the first time the township has communicated with me.
Well, you're welcome.
We send you a tax bill, don't we? That's communication.
I have an issue with a new build in my area called Township in July. I feel like there's no way to get a human on the phone. It's legit phone tag. I leave message, they call back and leave message. Just feel there needs to be more effective communication and resolution route for the year 2024. Seems like an archaic process.
Say during the day, we have a human answer the phone. That was always important to.
Well, they're saying that
I
they're
think that-
playing phone tag.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
Yeah,
I
and
also
that's-
think there's that directory when you call.
the
Plus
tree,
one,
the
the
tree that is-
receptionist, yeah.
Yeah. But
Which is the
during-
best way to handle that kind of thing, because
if you-
then Anna would just get 1,000 calls. and she'd have to redirect.
Yeah, but she does answer the phone during the day, and you guys do too, right? That was always very important to council, a lot during your opening hours. Like if you call after hours, you're gonna get that.
But if I called the township at like 9 o'clock, I think it would still go to the tree, right?
I think, yes, I think I
Oh, it
called and
does
it
go
goes
to
to
the
the tree. It doesn't go automatically.
Anna?
Ours
You
goes
have to
You have
pick.
to wait.
You can hit zero
Oh, you can hit
and
zero,
get Anna.
yeah.
But the first thing it goes to is the automation.
Like if you want this department, click
Yeah.
this, and then you go through everybody in the department. If you want this department, click this. So I do
It's
feel
hard to
some
get
of
to
their
Anna.
pain, but
I didn't know that. I thought.
So maybe it's just something that got thrown off on the phone
Yeah,
system.
and we are in the process of a brand new phone system, so, and we've already
Yeah.
talked about the tree
The
and
tree,
all that, making
yeah.
that much shorter and
That's in
easier.
your newsletter?
than it was.
That's from the community center.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask them, because somebody
Yeah, we should probably check that out.
Newsletter from the
should really go.
center or from the township?
I mean,
Newsletter, it's one thing.
they're saying no, like they're getting a call back though.
Yeah, they're getting a call back. They're upset
It's
that
your fault you're available when I call you back.
it's just the same thing on both going both ways.
But I'm saying, if I'm not calling you, if the township isn't calling you back, that's something totally different.
yeah, I get it.
They're calling me back, they're just missing me. When I call, I miss them. I'm like, okay, but they're calling you back. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, I feel your pain, but
Right.
We should do that,
sometimes
because it's a place people look.
they are calling you back.
Suggestion.
So I had this next one just so that you guys get a compliment.
Thank you.
I don't want to miss it, which one?
Center, I use the pool mostly, really appreciate it, and the amenities, that's a hard word to say, and the GPC staff.
Nice.
I feel like there needs to be more communication about how/what should be recycled. Don't think most people have much knowledge on this subject as is apparent. Blah blah blah. So this would be actually an important thing for one of those, updates.
blurb in a
Blurb,
newsletter.
Yeah.
Did your
I
husband?
think
give
we
that
did
one?
That's what I was thinking as soon as I read it. I'm like, oh.
I think we do that in our letters. Like proper way recycling, in the public works, yeah. But maybe.
So all in there.
But maybe they read the first paragraph and were like, this is.
They stopped reading. But it is interesting, the
Yeah.
person thinks that anything from Plymouth Township's getting landfilled, but, well, I guess if it's in the bin and it's not the right thing, it probably will get landfilled, it could be that, but, interesting.
But that is the type of information, like we're saying in that newsletter, to keep. That's something that could, every time a newsletter comes out, that's one of the components that's in it is recycling.
It's in there every single time.
I know, but
Some sort
I'm
of-
saying it's in there on the September 1. I'm saying if we're updating, just as far as saying we don't have to
Like
create a
children,
new
they're
word,
like, ooh,
let's
a
keep
picture.
pushing that in your
And it
face.
seems easier.
It's just the recycling process. So it's really, so this kind, obviously this may be just one person, but you won't have that because we're constantly telling you.
What to recycle,
What to
how to
recycle.
recycle, and
You can't.
You're much more of an optimist than me.
Well, no, I'm saying, well, yeah, I probably,
in there.
that's what they tell me.
You have better luck herding cats.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I just, like we said, I just think that's something that,
beating over the head with just.
well, but I'm saying as far as making the integral newsletters pertinent and not too cumbersome that's a piece of information that I think is relevant.
Looking for, yeah.
Get it out via the standard channels, text or email. I don't do social media. Make it timely too, which is just showing that some people don't use social media, so we need to make sure we're paying attention to them. Sounds funny, but posting on the front door of the community center works incredibly well.
That's good
There
to
you
know.
go. Good job. Good work. In the newsletter, you may consider establishing a message from Township Council column to inform the public of what is new and happening. People often can't attend the meetings.
That's a good idea.
Put that on the blurb too. In favor. I said in favor. In favor, that'll cool down.
Yeah, see, again, another piece, We're creating the new newsletter.
Just make it easy for people to hear what's going on. I mean, sometimes people are like, hey, what's
Sorry,
going on?
I
can't, I'm reading ahead.
And the newsletter can get.
I'm like forehead, I'm like, did you take my head?
And,
Like,
yeah,
it's too
and
hard
the
to-
next one is what I was like, oh, okay. Sure, if there was a little message in there that said, here's a couple of,
Is that really what's important to you?
here's what's going on with single-use plastic bans, here's what's going on with development, here's what's going on with, enhancing one of our parks. 3 things you might want to know. Yeah, I think it's a great suggestion.
Branding. Every communication, whether it be about events, happenings in the township, or it be about taxes and more serious matters, or matters like the sewer bill, should be branded for the township. Envelopes from our tax services should not be branded from our contractor. Should have our seal and our township's name.
One thing is we don't want anybody to pay their township taxes here at the township building because we can't accept it anymore. So, usually you mail it back to the place you got it from. You got a bill, you send it back to the place who sent it to you, so
But
that.
also, like, how big?
Berkheimer
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Tri-State Financial or something,
This
like your
doesn't
business.
seem that important.
Yeah, I should have added on the list because it's not really
No,
pertinent.
that's okay.
No. It's just like this person must work in marketing or something.
Need to utilize Facebook much more and clean up the website. I concur. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel that important township issues and meetings about zoning, new development, etc. is often hidden, not well communicated. I've looked on the website many a time and find it is not easy to find information on navigate. More people would be involved if they were better informed.
Put that to the test.
The website will have it, yeah.
How about the next one?
Every public meeting should be broadcast live.
Do you want to be here till 2 a.m.?
Yeah, that's
Not really.
the caveat. I
Why
think.
can't you? I didn't put the comment in, but why can't you? Why can't you just open it up as like, even if it's a YouTube live and broadcast it, and then you can save it on the website and it's done?
From a technical standpoint, right now,
Yeah.
we don't really have the bones for it.
That's fine.
But we should have that soon. Whether we're doing this or not, that's a conversation that I don't know if you guys in council have to talk about that.
That's
one.
up to council, I suppose.
Yeah.
I just know Lower Merion broadcasts live. They have a huge television studio.
Yeah, it's really
that we-
nice.
that we- I know, I've
Who
seen.
who does?
Lower Merion.
Okay.
It's huge. They've got the money over there.
But does it allow people to like interact?
Well, what happens, the manager tells me, like, the people at home are watching, and then they leave their house and they come to the meeting because they still want to talk about it, and their meetings go till midnight, 2 a.m. I'm not even kidding. So that's that's one thing that can happen when you have a live broadcast. If somebody's at home watching and they're like, oh, I have something to say about that, I'm going to run right
Yeah.
over. And that's what they do.
And are you guys allowed to say, we have a hard stop time if it's
Yeah,
like?
if they could, they'd probably have to have a second meeting that month, if you're gonna have, so the
So
zoning
that's the
board, the
caveat
planning
to it, I
agency,
guess.
they have a hard stop at 10 o'clock, but if they're almost done, they might go till 10:30, but if they realize they have, look how many hearings there were for the pre, to have
Yeah,
the 500 apartments at the mall.
3
They
hour
went on for
meetings.
like a year, and they had to make a separate zoning night for that, so, but they'd cut off after about 3 or 4 hours, and they'd say, okay, we'll pick it up next month, just pick it up, and they just went over and over and over.
Maybe
Those were
the,
Zoom.
And they were Zoom, yeah.
maybe the middle ground, if you record it, but you don't record it live, then you post it on the website. I don't know what. but
Regular
it won't
meetings
be-
get recorded.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
it's
it's-
hard to record live if people are just gonna show up and keep everyone here till.
Oh, so you're saying push it out, live stream it, but don't allow people doing.
Keep the door locked? No.
Yeah, kind of like
Yeah, like if you're doing a hybrid.
post later, or do something where like, you know what, if you're not in house and when we get to this topic, then we're moving on. Like, you don't want people to watch it from home and then all of a sudden you got 38 cars in the parking lot because they have a comment. Like, you should have been here if you knew it was on the agenda. So, or maybe those big meetings are gonna have those things like pre-it or whatever. Don't record, don't record those so much, or record them and post them later. Like, there might be options around it. Maybe it's not exactly this.
It's been talked about, but just very preliminary, because it obviously has to be talked about with you and the council. So it's, like I said, from a technical standpoint, right now, it's not really there. But in the future, it's not out of the question, but it's also, I think, a resource thing. If we were to expand this to multiple meetings, then, that's another conversation. Right now, we just do regular meeting on video.
How quickly do we get them up once there is a meeting?
Within a day or two.
Yeah,
I think
the next
That
morning.
seems
I think it's a
reasonable.
topic
Yeah.
we should talk about. I mean, I think there are some risks, but I think we're all looking for ways for people to be more engaged in what's happening.
Yeah.
And to be more present and to be more vocal. And if it meant that we got held hostage here because people kept talking, honestly, if people felt like they had a voice and were heard, as long as they weren't abusive of their time, or abusive of the time of everybody in the room, like
We still
I
have
would-
the communications policy, right? That-
Right, well,
Right.
people are limited to 3 minutes,
Right.
you know. I don't know, I think it's worth talking about. I'd love to see people more engaged in what we're doing.
Right, I mean, we were here until like 11 o'clock at night the other night, and it wasn't broadcasted live. You know, I think some things that are controversial issues are just gonna be long meetings either way.
We don't, I mean, we did have a channel at one point, though, right? There was-
It'll be back. It's it's in the
That's-
works to come back.
When the building was, when the auditorium was demoed, that equipment was taken out. It was old, I think some of it was broken.
It stopped working.
It stopped working.
And then
So-
we were just waiting to get everything situated.
Right.
And now that we're situated, it's starting to become a
And we were
center
just
of
talking
conversation.
about
Just during COVID, because I remember sitting in Zooms for meetings, so that's no longer.
Yeah, so we did that for a while, and I forget when we stopped doing that.
It was
Like-
August of '21, because the state legislature said we had to go back in person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As early as of August of '21, they said that you can't have Zoom meetings anymore. You have to have them in person. You could have both, but you had to have people here physically in person, and the majority of council had to be here in person. Same for zoning, planning, and some of those other boards.
Thank you.
We talked about that just the other day about, yes, how much money do we spend to get that PEG channel back, the educational channel, Verizon and Comcast back? Because, you know, people are leaving Comcast and Verizon and going to other streaming and other sources for their TV. And then how much money do you want to spend on the equipment? that
Why
is-
can't you use CITV at the high school?
I don't know, because.
Contacts at the high school, they'll put recordings out. We always used to put them out for like the William Jeans Library, we put them out for all kinds of things within the
Talking about
township.
ZITV?
CITV.
Yeah.
She's put stuff up for me. Not video, just text.
So it might be worth asking the question, now that we're kind of in a more technical world, things like that, is it still Kim over there? Do you know? I mean, if we just reach out to Kim and be like, hey, if we record these, is it something?
That's my contact.
Now, would it be
Okay.
changed? Because they have their own channel, and we have our own channels, one for Verizon, one for Comcast, but I don't know how that would work, but.
They would just put it out on the CITV channel, like they have their own channel too, but
Yes.
obviously they wouldn't put it out on yours, but it would save you the money of getting your own channel and it's out there for the community just like anything else. And they'll just set a time, they have a time they can, we're gonna play the township, whatever.
at a certain
meeting.
time.
Yeah. It might be worth the question just to see if Kim can do something or whoever the contact is now. I don't know.
We didn't get many eyes on
It's
our.
still there, but I think
channel.
Jess is the one that's.
That's who I talked to.
Okay.
We do think, right, if you get people involved, to Lynn's point, the more people get out there, get involved.
Do you know, does the CITV crew, personnel have to, they're at the meeting, the school board meeting, say, filming it?
I don't think they
Like,
have.
would they have to come here to do that?
If you record it, I think you can send it to them. It's all
Okay,
electronic.
but that's not live.
No, it wouldn't be live, like, it would be like something you could play later. Now, if it's live, you'd have to bring them here, now they use a
That's what
lot
I'm
of the
saying.
students, I think.
Okay.
So that's something you'd have to work out with them, but
Okay.
just to have it play on the TV channels, to not have your own, you might be able to utilize that CITV channel if you send them the information. Yeah, I mean, it's a step in the direction of making it more accessible.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it was never limited, like Conshohocken or Whitemarsh could do the same thing, but we're not sitting in those board meetings, we're sitting in ours, so Plymouth, if we ask.
Yeah, we have the channel, but just not the equipment right now.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I work at Conshohocken Elementary, and they just made all their PTA meetings are on Zoom again. Because people are, they're busy.
Easier,
They don't have kids
yeah.
that They don't pay to get to bed, right?
People don't have babysitting, they don't have
Yeah.
childcare, they work different hours. So to get more engagement, we went back to Zoom.
Has it worked?
I think so. We've only had
I'm gonna scoot. Thank you.
But before we would bring in like teachers, we would
Sign
babysit.
things to the GPCC while you're not here.
Email me.
Just kidding, thank you, Joanne.
Out and just, oh, okay.
Chime in. When there's stuff in here. I don't know. Is it an option to go back? Although she said the state said you had to go back to being in person.
But that doesn't mean we couldn't make it.
We can make it
She's
hybrid.
saying, yeah, that's what she was saying. You
Yeah.
could still do Zoom. You could still have that as an option,
Okay.
but we had to also be in person.
So going forward, you could do a hybrid option, have it in person, but also live stream it, embed the live stream in a Zoom meeting, and then people could watch it, but that opens up people asking questions, making the meetings longer, and then that's the question we have to ask ourselves, is that something we want to do? It's definitely a great way to connect people.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The biggest thing I think is still, like you say, respecting the time limit on, people speaking can't run from their comments, right? Whether they decide to get up and come in the building that meeting and say, I'm going to say what I need to say, or I'm going to do it over Zoom. You can't run from that, but still, like you're saying, have to be respectful. Like, we can't be here all night just because you want to talk forever. You want to hear yourself.
At your council meetings, you have a 3-minute limit for people to make their opinions heard. How does that go?
I mean, that's what I thought the official policy is, but when I've been here, we've never really addressed, we haven't said.
We've never really
said
felt the
that?
need to.
Yeah, no one was going on and on, so we never felt the need to
Yeah.
say, hey, everyone has 3 minutes.
So you don't say that in the beginning before people give their opinion. And you haven't found that to be a problem.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, some people do go on.
Go on and on, but it's not
we-
like 10 people going
Yeah,
on and on,
we
it's like
also
1 or
allow
2.
them, because
Right.
generally we want people to feel heard. But it's a
Right.
good point that if we announced it and felt the need to rein something in because it was out of control, as long as we announced it and let people
you
know
say
that
that-
they didn't feel like it was a
Exactly.
personal,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Especially on those big topics that you know.
That are gonna-
Yeah.
Right.
Controversial.
You know, like if you're just having a meeting next month and there's no big topics that you don't think is gonna bring a whole crowd of people in.
Well, you should be surprised what's
Sure.
controversial.
Okay, we're gonna leave that one alone. I'm not coming to any board meetings, that's all I
See, everything that make you want to come to me.
No, this one's enough.
Then we should ask Mike Clark, because I think Lower Providence has a Zoom option, so they do it hybrid, so we should ask if he has input on how that works for them.
But then from like a technical standpoint, we'd have to also figure out how we would do that, like logistically.
Oh, yeah.
It could certainly be done, but we might have to revise our AV system here, accommodate it.
Gotcha.
Or we won't, but there's probably ways we could do it what we have right now. I think it's a conversation we should certainly have, especially since we are going to be getting, we're going to keep building on our AV system. Getting to that point of getting the government access channel back, and it definitely opens the possibility for other things.
No, it's good. It's good feedback.
Should I keep going, or do we want to wrap it up? And there's not many more here. I could just
I'm fine to finish.
All right, yeah.
Keep going.
an outlet to voice concerns that could be monitored by the township and acted on when relevant and necessary. We kind of have something like that with.
Isn't it the citizen request kind of
We have
thing?
that, and what's that program that we use that people can submit?
Right to know?
No, it's eGov.
Oh, eGov,
eGov,
yeah,
that's
complaints
Yeah.
through the website, you can, if you have anything, street light out, or a lot of anonymous.
But people
like,
might not know about
things
that.
their
Maybe we need to
neighbors.
make it
Is
more.
that the same thing as it? Maybe, I don't know if I'm thinking about it right, but somebody told me they made like a citizen request or
Yeah.
something online, but
That's the same thing.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
but never got a response.
And then they just put it here.
And then, because I remember you being like, well, that shouldn't happen.
Well, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because they all get assigned to someone.
Right.
It depends on if it's, yeah, is it on there?
Whereas in
Yeah, it's at the top,
Oh,
it
yeah.
says citizen request, one of the
So you
menus.
can, tell us about a pothole, you can tell us, like appliance collection, and you can ask a question, you can make an anonymous complaint about your neighbor, you can, there's police questions, there's anything you want to ask, and then it gets assigned to somebody to
How do we
answer.
tell the township anything? I don't know, just tell me, I'll tell them. There'll be
Nothing, there's no way to do it. Especially if you're complaining about your neighbors.
Essentially, we have.
Oh my God.
That's terrible. What they're asking for.
And it's right at the homepage too.
Right.
It's not hard to find.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we needed to make it a little easier to find, but it seems to be already pretty.
But maybe to Ronald's earlier point, that's another newsletter,
Right.
periodic newsletter item, like just directing
Explain
people
it.
to that or
If you
explaining.
have
Yeah,
exactly.
There.
Yeah, there's certain things that repetition probably would be a good idea.
I agree. Yes.
Newsletter at least monthly.
Yeah.
I know.
Feel about quarterly.
That's the very
We'll
least.
meet you in the middle.
I say every 2 weeks.
Tag your.
Karen's only gonna work to do the newsletter.
Puts it out like a daily newspaper.
How are we supposed to contact someone in the township when the only method is the telephone number that is never answered?
I can't believe it.
Having an alternative method of the phone would go a long way in improving communications between the township and residents.
Well, once again, there are other methods. You could just
Actually,
need to make
that-
them more.
There's a fairly valid point there in that people don't seem to know you can press 0 to get the operator.
Yeah.
You know, to
But
get-
if you're doing a new system, maybe that's something we could say on the
There's a
recording.
chance we could get that turned off tomorrow because it might just be
Oh,
it
really?
might just be something that's wrong in the setting.
Oh, set wrong.
Because it was, I think so. It was
Yeah.
very important to council that a live person answer that phone during office hours. So that's how I thought it was, and it should be.
Would it be any different if I dialed it right now?
No, it wouldn't,
Yeah.
we're off hours.
Closed.
Yeah, there's nobody here gonna answer your phone live. But when Anna goes out to lunch, she transfers her phone calls to Relny. So there's always somebody answering that phone.
Yeah.
Should be.
They're getting phone calls, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day.
So some people are getting
So I
through.
wonder if that's just,
I think you can wait.
if it's after hours,
You
you're
can
gonna
wait
get.
for the tree and just wait.
Oh, maybe
Or
that's.
just hold
the
on
thing.
and you'll be redirected to the
Maybe
reception.
people aren't waiting.
I think you're redirected to the tree, but that's okay, we'll find out, and we'll make it right, because I think we can make
Okay.
that. During office hours, not.
Yeah. I
not
mean,
other times.
24 hours a day, that's nuts.
I like these last three comments.
So this first one on here,
Wanted.
this actually got remediated. We reached out to
The Google search thing?
yeah, we reached out to our vendor for the website and they were able to install a plugin that is giving us a little more presence.
I did notice that we're coming up higher.
Yeah.
But they're looking for Plymouth Meeting Township, and you're not gonna find that on Google.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, I didn't
just
read
saying.
it.
no, you're not.
You'd be shocked how many people think they live in Plymouth Meeting Township.
Would be cool to feature a how-to or did you know series. How to apply for a fence, how to get a fire permit, how to get a stop sign added, how to ETC for some
Have that in Upper Dublin,
people in
or
the
one of the ones.
township.
Some of the websites do,
Had that.
like, yeah, like a how do I.
Flashing.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a good feature.
Walk recently,
But notice he says it would be cool.
elementary.
Yeah.
It's essential.
And it might just be something, if you don't have enough on the bullet points,
Apply for dot, dot,
other
dot,
ones,
contact.
add a little how to at the bottom. Did you ever want to know how to install a fence, just as a filler? How do you know what I mean? You could do that.
Oh, yeah.
Walk up from the Sussex Square Apartments on that side. And then you have the crossing guard. I think they moved it up for the kids in that other neighborhood.
That's what we were saying, like, you could put it like on the newsletter, like the ones going in, the extra ones we're talking about. If you need a filler, do a how-to, just how do you apply for a fence? How do
I was
you
amazed at how that
get a permit to redo your bathroom? I don't know, whatever permit you need, I don't know.
Cross noisy neighbor.
rectangle.
That. Just let Dawn know it's not. It's a filler if you want it, if, not to add anything more, but if like all of a sudden you get to one of the quarters, you're like, we don't have anything else to talk about, what if we're spray paint there? Oh, let's just put in,
Okay.
how do you get a
To your
permit?
point, that could be a section.
It was not the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
Every,
And maybe we only put it in the extras, instead of putting it in the newsletters, because there are 31 pages, make that one of the sections in the extra, I don't know.
Yeah.
The way he was
No,
doing
I mean,
think
because
that-
if you do it enough, then
Plastic
people
thing,
may
a
be
thermo-
looking forward to that next.
You're right.
Something
that's what it was.
that's relevant to them. It's, oh,
It's
they're
not-
figuring
it's
out
generally
how
not
to,
paper.
now this is the,
It's a thermo-
how
it's like a
to
big-
do a fence or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
To apply it.
Yeah, and we can also make it prominent, I mean, to your point, we can make it prominent
Yeah,
on the
I was
website.
like,
Like
oh, wow.
some of the other township
Never even
websites have like a
considered
how do I, that's actually a header.
I saw that, and I thought that's very helpful.
Yeah, that's a
I like-
good- that's a
I
good
like that.
idea.
I was hoping that we'll have that on ours.
Yeah.
So on the way out, I can't
Go for Dublin's too. It's on that one.
It is.
I get good.
It is good.
And then the emails, again, like,
Worries out.
I don't think we can send emails based on demographics, but if we have an opt-in, opt-out,
I'll write a note
Yeah,
in the
well,
calendar
that helps for
ask
something.
about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I was thinking that would be overly
I
complicated
mean, because,
to do it based on demographics. Unless there were sections.
you still have to opt in, because what if I'm like, I
Exactly.
have grandchildren, so why did you rule me out from things
Right,
for toddlers?
right.
When, just because you thought I, yeah, but more opt-in, I think, is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Brandon. Any other thoughts about any of the open-ended items? Were those all the open-endeds, or you pulled the?
I pulled the ones that, some of them were repetitive, like,
Yeah,
and these were just kind of the ones that stuck out to me. I mean, I could bring up the other ones if anyone wants to see, but I pretty much got all the ones that are a little bit more pertinent.
we trust you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And for driving.
No problem. Thanks.
Question, do we want to shut down the survey now?
I guess we can, but it also doesn't hurt to keep it up.
Yeah, I would say.
But I don't think we need to advertise it anymore.
Yeah, we could leave it and just see what we get. I
Something
mean,
important might come up, because I get emails every time, like every day I'll get like a bulk email saying, you have 5 new responses.
Oh, yeah.
I go in and there could be a good one that comes that we didn't think of, so.
and can you at any point filter it on like responses that came in after a certain date? So you know where you don't have to like, you know just what's new.
Change it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So everybody's okay, we'll just leave it open, what we get, we get. And, I mean, there'll be some point where it probably makes sense to
Shut it down,
shut it
yeah.
down. Just in terms of next steps really quickly, because I know it's almost 9 and I don't know, you guys, your bedtimes or maybe.
Still dinner time.
Dinner time. In terms of next steps, I'm thinking there's a couple of things. Number one, we should probably reconvene. I'll try and get cleaned up and typed up everything we talked about tonight. But we probably should come up with a combined, like a shared set of recommendations from the survey. And I think it would be helpful for someone on the committee that's not Kristen or me to, or it could be more than one person, or it could be the committee in its entirety, to present them to council, to kind of share with council what you've heard, what we've heard, and what some of the recommendations are. And we can, I mean, Kristen and I can help sort of get the group to that point, and we will also share with council that, like, we're behind the recommendations, but rather than them coming from us, I
Yeah.
would love to see them come from all of you. So that would be sort of a very next step. I mean, maybe there's one more get-together where we like, let's nail them down, and let's come up with a plan for presenting them to council.
I think we should do that. 'Cause I don't want anyone to feel like the pressure of going at it blind and like.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
No, I think we've got to like
Yeah.
nail these down as a group, agree to what they are, and then someone or some number of people go like, all right, I'll present.
It needs to be precise,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep. And that kind of closes down, I think, this part of the work. And then step 2, which we can kind of do simultaneously or separate them. But I think some people said, hey, I'd be willing to kind of help with that next website part of this, which we could start looking at the platform providers. There are 2 that are kind of in the game. We could start looking at those. Think about maybe what some of the recommendations are from the survey and how that might transition into sort of like website development. So that's kind of phase 2. Like I said, we can do them together, like those are simultaneous activities, or we could say wrap up these recommendations and then go to website. Thoughts about that or any of that?
That sounds good.
Well, sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I'm willing to present if nobody else volunteers. If somebody else wants to do it, I'm good, whatever.
Yeah, or it could be, I mean, you
Maybe a
could,
group of us.
yeah, or the group could be there together and you could all answer questions, one person presents or two people, however you all want to play it. But in the meantime, I'll get this cleaned up, we'll come together again and get something down that we agree to is a set of recommendations from the committee, which will include enhancing the website in a variety of ways, but that'll be its own sort of follow-on body of work. Cool? Yes.
But thoughts on timeline, because we're going to get into the holiday
I was going to
season.
ask that, so what are we
You want us to
thinking?
meet, and then when's the next council?
Council meets the
6th and 11th in November. Well, that's November, but you're probably looking at December, but to get another meeting before we get this set of recommendations together. So December, it's the first and second Mondays.
So December 2nd and 9th.
Like December couldn't fall, like it couldn't fall like on the 10th and the, I know 10th, it could be like the 7th and the 14th. Like it has to be the 2nd and the 9th.
Yeah. So, and the 9th is actually so the 2nd is our workshop meeting, and you could present there, or the 9th is our actual like regular council meeting. And so either one is available, but that gives us between here and there roughly 4 weeks. So when would you want to get back together, knowing we're going to get back together, nail down recommendations, then you're still going to want a little bit of time, I would think, to kind of like pull it together. What are we thinking time-wise? I mean, we don't have to wait another 3 or 4 weeks to get together. If everybody wants to get together in a week or two, we can do that as well.
I can't do the week of the 4th. It looks like I'm open any other week.
Okay.
The week of the 4th, I'm in Hershey the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
So if assuming we're not going to meet right away next week, although that is a possibility, I guess.
Or I could do it virtual from Hershey, I forgot.
Okay, so the week of the 4th, knowing we'd have Dawn virtually, or the week of the 11th, that would be the next week.
Which month?
November.
November?
Just for us to get back together to have our like final hash out recommendations.
Either week, the 4th or the 11th?
For me, I would say the 11th.
That works better for me.
Okay.
I'll be in person.
Week of the 11th?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll ask Linda to put out a doodle poll for the week of the 11th.
The week of the 11th?
Does that sound good?
Yes.
And we'll do, I mean, should we just say 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And hopefully there'll be at least one date in there where everybody can.
I was just going to see if there were other meetings that week, but.
And maybe,
Just on the
maybe the way to position the website then is one of the recommendations from the committee could be, hey, some of us would be willing to stay together to help council identify sort of next steps in the website, like your website developer and the next steps in the process. Maybe that is a recommendation and then
Oh, they are.
that launches into the next part. If in fact you want, I want to put recommendations.
Yeah, he does the meeting from the plant,
We're
but
doing this?
I think everybody else is.
If that's the case, Becky's talking them out.
Yes.
Don't send you up there, right?
I'm not thinking about it.
No, I didn't mean to be a wise guy. Yes, so the council actually approved a resolution to convene this committee. They know that that these, that this is the group on the committee, so absolutely.
13th will be out.
Yeah.
We're awaiting the recommendations.
Me too.
Yeah, Lynn, on the 14th of that week,
Yes.
there's a meeting in here.
So it would have to be the 12th or the 13th.
Or we can utilize a different
Or we could-
room, but
Yeah.
I don't know, there's not really, we have a very big group here, there's not a lot of room in that room.
Well, why don't, just because there's a pretty sizable group we're trying to pull together, what if we put the dates out, including the 14th, but if we needed to, for example, meet at the community center?
I was going to ask if the community center
Just
was
so
an
for
option.
that.
Center have That?
We'll just record it with a phone or something.
Yeah, we could,
Is there,
we could do a connection to the community center. If we use, I know if we use the room we used for
Do we
council
still,
meetings.
do we not have the same stuff?
We don't have the
The
recorder up
equipment's
there.
here now, not there. It's the same
So
equipment.
we would just use the good old iPhone.
And it's like the big
Recorded
card
on iPhone.
thing, I
That's all.
forgot, I was thinking of the little circle.
Yeah.
Or just put the poll out for the 2 days that are open.
Yeah.
Or include it, whatever.
Well, why don't we try, how about if we try polling without the 14th? And if
Okay.
the responses are dismal, we'll go to Plan B.
Okay.
And include the 14th and find another location.
All right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We will make it work.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.